Hi, and welcome to this week's episode of the Retirement Readiness Podcast. As always, Tim Regan, the founder and wealth partner at Prairie View, and Katie Umland here. Thanks so much for joining us. Today, we're talking about, kind of piggybacking off of last week's episode, today we're talking about staying active in retirement.
Yeah, I think kind of an exciting theme, I think.
Yeah, and I think kind of like I said last week, we were kind of talking about the health side. So today's kind of going along with that. So we were just kind of talking about the health side.
Yeah. Well, and I think
not retirement.
Yeah. Well, which is like so kind of cool because I think at least because there's so much talk right now about the stuff we talked about last time around how do you stay.
Wait, the last time when I wasn't even here.
Oh, yeah. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. This chair is feeling like somebody else sat in it.
Yeah. We're back to Goldilocks, right?
Yeah.
And so I think that when we talk, we've had a couple episodes about how do you stay healthy and things leading into retirement. And I think that that's pretty key, right? So how do I do the things now that I can make sure that when I hit retirement, I'm healthy? But then it's all about today. Okay, now I'm in retirement. What am I doing to be active?
Mm-hmm.
And what are some of the things that we can spend our time doing?
Well, I just brought my kids to my mom's house earlier this morning so that I could be here. And we were outside playing golf, hockey.
Well, of course, hockey, right? Because Emmett's older cousin is a hockey player. Yes. And so all cool guys play hockey, right?
Exactly. So that is keeping Mom and Al active in retirement is running after the grandkids.
Oh, for sure. Well, and it's funny how I think everybody has a different picture of what that active in retirement means. Like for some, I think that active is I just want to be able to get up and go to the grocery store when I want to. Yep. I want to be able to live kind of everyday life. Where I think for other people, and for myself included, my picture of retirement is we're kayaking and biking and hiking and, kind of living things that we like
that
to
you're
do,
currently doing.
that we enjoy doing. Not maybe things that aren't so easy to do in the Midwest, but
right.
But in retirement, it doesn't matter as much. We can, kind of hop in the car and go do those things.
Well, I know you have a client who I've been thinking currently I would guess in their 80s, and they ski, right?
Yeah.
They're
it's
avid
funny.
skiers.
If you ever want to catch it, that was episode 1. We had Judy and Lou in the office and recorded with them, and which by the way is kind of funny to see how far even the podcast has progressed.
I know.
Right?
Thinking about the first episode, it's like cringy. Yeah. Like, oh, maybe don't go watch that.
How about it?
We should have them back on now that we have a little legit
more
setup.
Legit. But you're right, and for them, unfortunately, they've had to step back, scale some things back now. But I like to think about them as in their progression. Through retirement, and I'll get it wrong, but they went skiing at like 300 different places or something. Like they skied all over the U.S. Very actively in retirement. They were active bicycle riders and that kind of stuff. And so as they've aged, what we've seen them do now is they've transitioned a little bit. So instead of riding a traditional bicycle where, Lou was logging hundreds of miles a week, now they're riding the recumbent bikes, and which is a little easier as you age. And they even, he's always been able to ride and run and things farther than Judy. So on her trike, she's got a little electric motor. So if she wants to go for, 15 miles and she's like, I only feel like I want to do 8 or 10, she can click on the motor and help give her a little more boost to do it too.
To do it together still. Yeah.
And so even for them, we've seen that progression, starting out super active and still super active. Just it looks different today than it did when they first retired.
And I think that's the progression is just like you said, like things can influence what your activity level and interests look like. Again, going back to, your grandkids, maybe their interests are influencing
for sure
what you're interested in now. Yep. And so you're trying different activities or you're involved in different ways.
Well, and the thing that I always think of in my mind is I picture, so at our house, we're fortunate we've got a swimming pool and had one since we built the house. We put the pool in, and our kids kind of just grew up in the pool. And when they were little, I would kind of put them on my shoulder, one-handed, and like launch them into the deep end, right? Well, Grace now is 16, and she would still like me to launch her into the deep end, and I do, and not maybe quite as high as when she was little, but my picture is I want to do that with the grandkids and the
Right.
great grandkids. I don't want them to come over and
You
think
got to
that
sit on the couch next to grandpa.
yeah, exactly, right? And so I think being active in retirement means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. For me, I picture my picture is that it's a very active lifestyle, but that's not for everybody either.
And it probably depends on what your activity level was leading up to retirement. Like maybe your lifestyle just isn't, we don't
Mhm.
care about biking and canoeing.
Yep,
To
not
us,
doesn't even sound like fun to me.
yeah,
Yep.
I don't want to do that at all. Maybe your activity level is like, hey, I just want to be able to go and, like you said, grocery shop on my
Mhm.
own or
Well, and the thing that's really cool now, and this is kind of places where I kind of like nerd out a little bit, is when you look at the things that technology and medicine are doing today, it means that you can have, whether you want to call it active, mobile, whatever, that lifestyle for a long time. And what I mean by that is just look at how many rascal scooters do you see now where people that potentially in the past would not have been able to go to the flea market or go
right.
to, to do things. Now they have the mobility ability because of some of that technology. Um, all the way down to, stem cells that are now regrowing growing cartilage in knees and hips and that kind of stuff. I think on the verge of being able to really see the human body be able to be active much longer
Or
than.
even like when we had Dr. Jake Alec on and he was
Mhm.
talking about chiropractic work and
A hundred
extending
percent.
your activity level. Like you don't have to have shoulder, you might not have to have
The
shoulder
surgery.
replacement,
Yep.
like, and have this huge downtime. Like maybe you can kind of extend with just some chiropractic work instead of
A hundred
being
percent.
down.
Well, and we've even seen that. You and I were just talking about it, like you said, right before kind of getting on the show, where uh, I think there's a balance, and we have to find that balance between kind of Eastern and Western medicine, the natural healing, and uh, the Western medicine that's a little bit more prescriptive, and we don't do a whole lot until there's actually a problem. And when we do, we're going to give you a prescription or a surgery or
A
that kind of stuff.
downstream resolution, not a
Exactly.
fix the
An upstream.
yeah, fix the real root cause.
Yeah, for sure.
And maybe even active doesn't mean physically active. It could be mentally active. Like let's
Yeah,
still,
100%.
maybe it's learning how to use your iPad to stay current, or you know what I mean? Like it doesn't have to be necessarily
No, yeah,
physically
not at
active.
all. Well, and it's funny to me how funny, interesting, I should say, to me, how today, like, you can learn anything you want anywhere you want. The number of online courses that are
Mhm.
available and through accredited universities, like this isn't the Sally Struthers
Right.
TV VCR repair program that you
Mhm.
used to order online
Yeah.
or on the TV. This is, hey, I want to learn more about anthropology. I can take Anthropology 201 from Arizona State
Yeah.
and
Or
uh,
even like master class.
yeah.
I've
Oh,
heard
yeah.
there's so many master classes you could and learn from like the real people,
Real
like,
deal. Yeah.
like
Or even Linda,
things
right?
people you would never have access to.
Exactly.
You can
You can do
online.
that, yeah. And so it's really kinda cool to see how, to your point, active can have lots of different definitions, both when you're not before retirement, but then also in retirement. And what we found is that the people that are in retirement that are active mentally, physically, are the ones that have longevity. They're the ones
Mhm.
that feel fulfilled. They're the ones, just all that kind of stuff.
And it's like the use it or lose it,
Yeah, 100%.
physically and mentally. I feel like you have to keep
And not to
keep it
mention even
keep it
the
greased.
yeah, 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 yeah. And now we're going to, maybe Wizard of Oz, right, with the
Yeah.
Tin Man. Uh, and I think that that's even true. People see that as they go through life pre-retirement as well. It's kind of like find that purpose. I know we always talk like I like to read books, and one of the books uh, that I think is I read probably at least once a year is Viktor Frankl's Man's Search for Meaning. And in there, he talks about having a meaning in your life, a purpose in your life. That's what he saw help people get through the Holocaust and get through
Mm.
some of the atrocities that were there. Like the people that lost their purpose really lost their will to live. The people who maintained their purpose were the ones that survived some of the concentration camps and that kind of stuff. And when I think about that, I think that that's very indicative of how we are while we're going through our careers, while we're raising our families, while when we hit retirement. Like if I lose that sense of purpose, it's really hard for me to be motivated to go and do things that I might want to do. And so being active, I think, helps keep us in that sense of
And that
purpose.
mindset,
Yeah.
yeah, it keeps you on the road to keeping you self-greased.
Yeah. That's right. That's right. It's even better though, like if you can have somebody with you that helps to grease you too,
Yeah.
like if because sometimes doing those things alone, it's harder to do it. But if you've got
Burnout.
yeah, if you can find a partner that whether it's your spouse or just a friend that says, "Hey, let's do these things together," and now I can be active and combine that with some social engagement. I mean, that's
And it's like an accountability partner, like,
for
hey,
sure.
are we going to meet today on the trail to go for a walk? Hey, we were going to do this together.
Yeah. Well, I think about my neighbor. We've lived next door to each other now for almost 20 years. And there's another neighbor lady that lives around the corner, around the block. And the two ladies every day walk on the trail. They take the dog sometimes it's just the two of them. But whether it is 0 degrees outside or 80 degrees outside, they're
They're
going
out.
for a walk. And so it's not only getting them out in nature, getting them in fresh air, getting them physically active, but then the social aspect of that too. And they're not retired yet. But I've seen them for, I don't know if it's been all 20 years, but it's been a long time that I see them go out for their walks. And it's funny, it used to be three of them, and then that neighbor moved away. But but having that routine and doing it and having the social part of it is really good.
So I feel like there's a lot of different things that you can even start now. If you're not in retirement, you can start being active physically, or like maybe you're soon to be retired and you can find a hobby
Hmm.
that you like. Maybe now you're starting to have more time for a hobby where, I just went to the dentist the other day and she asked me what I like to do for fun. And I'm like, look, I'm not in like the have
Yeah, that
fun
is,
stage of
wait,
life. Like,
wait, how do you
like,
spell I know there's an F in there. How do you spell fun? Like,
like
what are
she's like,
we
what do you like to do? And I'm like, go to sleep. I don't know
Yeah,
what you
yeah,
asking me right now.
yeah,
So like maybe once that part of your life is over, like maybe there's a time for you to start a hobby.
yeah. Well, and that's like you and I were just have talked in times past where how Sarah and I are in that transition
Right.
where kids are kind of moving out and stuff. Uh, and so she and I are finding things that we can do together, but also looking for things that I can do to fill some of that time. Like the past couple of weekends, I think we've talked in the past that I want to write a book, and so the last couple of weekends, Sarah's had some stuff going on. I had open weekends, and so I find myself now working on that, which is engaging in a completely different
Different.
way. It's brain work, which I enjoy, but it's not work,
Mm-hmm.
and so I leave that experience feeling more energized, and it is like a weekend. Um, and we've got friends of ours who are thinking about retiring, and he's like, I've always wanted to learn to play guitar. I'm going to go buy a guitar, and I'm going to go learn, have somebody teach me how to play the
Well,
guitar.
as you were
So
just saying all of that, I'm thinking, shoot, you guys better start that now so you have hobbies established before you retire. Otherwise, you're going to go nuts.
I know.
Like,
Well,
you guys got to have your own,
yeah, we got to get it figured out.
you
I
got
know.
to have your
Well,
own things because
it's funny because I told Sarah probably, I don't know, 5 years ago. I was like, what if I retired early?
she's like, nah.
She's like, what are you going to do? It's
Yeah. Because you're not hanging with me all
no,
day.
no. She's like, I have a whole system here that works, and it does
It
not
does
include
involve
you.
you.
So
Yeah, it was just as I was saying that, I was like, it's gonna be a lot of time.
yeah. Well, and I think though that it's fun from my perspective. It's fun because we're in a place where we don't have to do those things yet. Like I'm not, and personally, I mean, I talk about retirement. I really don't think I'll ever retire. I think that I'll always be working in some capacity, uh, just because I enjoy it too much. But right now we don't have to figure that out because we have plenty going on that keeps us pretty busy. But in those spaces, in the gaps, we have the ability to experiment and say, do I like this? Do I like that? Do I picture myself? I've never golfed before. big body, broad shoulders, and short arms don't make for a good golfer. And but maybe I would enjoy that. Is that something I want to try? Oh, I have a free weekend. Let me try that or whatever. And I just was thinking recently that I might want to take Sarah out skeet shooting. Uh, something that something that I haven't done since I was like in high school. But I'm like, oh, that might be fun. Maybe she and I could become
That
like.
sounds more like something you and Timmy should do when he's home from
Yeah. Well,
home
you
for a
never know. I
weekend.
thought Sarah might enjoy it. I was planning a vacation for the whole family. We're all going to go in June. I think we're going to head out west to Montana and do Glacier and maybe Yellowstone. And as I was looking at it, there's a dude ranch. I was going to sign us up, but you had to stay there for the whole week. And I didn't necessarily want to do a whole week. If I could have done a couple of nights, I would have
Yeah.
done it. But they had sporting clays and horseback riding and that kind of stuff and ATVs. And like, that would be a lot of fun. I was like, I can only imagine Andrew trying to shoot a shotgun after he gets done riding a horse that he's never ridden in his life.
You have to build that kid's list of things he's done more.
Yeah.
So
Yep. Yeah. So we're looking forward to that. But there too, I mean, that's another way when you think about being active, going on a horseback ride, that does not require great stamina, but it is still a very active activity. And so I think it can come in lots of varieties and lots of flavors.
If it's important to you.
Yeah.
I think like anything that's important to you, you can figure out how to get it done. I think it's just all about what you value. And
we've been talking a lot, our whole theme around, live the 2 comma lifestyle. And part of what's been going along with that is this picture of living inside of your fishbowl. And so what I think a lot about is when you're born, you're raised into a family, you come up with this certain set of parameters, things that you think are normal, and that's your fishbowl. And if you're a goldfish, the size of your fishbowl determines how big you grow. And I think that happens to all of us. We all grow within our own fishbowl. And when we think about being active in retirement or active pre-retirement, I think those are opportunities for us to even think outside of our fishbowl. Like I talk about skeet shooting. Sarah's never held a shotgun in her life. Her fishbowl would say, that's not me. That's not who I am. Now, I grew up where my first job was at a skeet and trap range. We did a lot of shooting of shotguns.
anything.
And again, like as a teenage boy, like I get to go fishing and I get to go shooting. Like that was an awesome job, right? And so for her, she would never think about maybe I'd want to do that because her fishbowl didn't keep her there. And so I think that as we think about getting into the stage of life where I have more time, I have some more discretionary income, I have some ability to do things, it's how do I think about how do I break out of that fishbowl in a lot of different areas, one of which could be recreation, free time, those things as much as anything else.
It's kind of like having to relearn it almost, like really, okay, what do I like to do? Like not only just after your kids get grown, but even in retirement, like, oh, I don't have the confines of having a job. So, I never considered something that might take me all day.
Yep.
Like golf takes all day sometimes.
Well, I would never go golfing. So I'm like, if I'd go all day long, when am I going to spend time with the kids?
Exactly.
I would never.
I have 2 days.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to spend one of them by myself on the golf course or, so like even learning those types of things where it's like, oh, I don't have these same parameters to fit my life into. Maybe
no, 100%.
It looks different.
100%. And even things like, so I signed up, I'm going to start pilot lessons in a week. And
awesome.
my plan is I want to have my pilot's license by the end of the year. Something that has been on the bucket list
for a long
25
time.
years. But there too, it's like, that's never been, that's outside of my fishbowl. That's outside of what I would normally think. And what happens is I think that as we get older, we get less comfortable taking some of those risks and getting outside of my comfort zone. Like the whole thought of, okay, I'm going to go to this place that's in a municipal airport somewhere that I've never been. I don't know what takes place at this location. I know zero going in
blind.
Yeah. And like, am I going to look like an idiot? Are they going to think I should know something that I don't know? Like, but it's like, we get so comfortable sometimes just being comfortable that we miss getting a broader perspective because we don't want to get uncomfortable. And I think that when we think about activity in retirement, activity before retirement, sometimes thinking outside of the fishbowl and thinking like, yeah, maybe when I'm a little bit uncomfortable, maybe that's a sign that that's what I should be doing because that's a growth opportunity for me.
So stay active.
Stay active.
Stay active. Get active, I guess.
Yeah. And, I was going to have us record Ruby today.
For our mail segment.
For our mailbag. But I think we're going to have to do that this week. I've got, have her bring us some.
Well, is she on spring break this week?
Yes, she is.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Then she might have time in her schedule.
Yeah.
Well, is she fully recovered from her ACL surgery that she can run across a table?
What we think is going on right now, because she still kind of like pulls that leg up a little bit. We think it's more for sympathy. Like
she realized it got attention.
Yeah. Oh, well, look at
me. So she's a toddler.
Princess. Yes. Yes. I'm the princess. And
ow.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Which, spring break is for the Regans this year has been really kind of sporadic. Lily, Maddie, Tim, and Grace all had 4 different spring breaks.
Oh, okay.
And
so what I'm hearing is you guys had 4 weeks of spring break.
We did.
Yeah.
4 weeks of spring break that we went nowhere. But unfortunately we were supposed to go and we were going to do kind of a tour. Maddie's in her last season of softball and they always have a tournament down in Florida. So we're going to go watch her, and then we're going to drive up the coast and see Kelly, our sister, in South Carolina, and then Sarah's sister in North Carolina. And then somehow I got a bug the night before we're supposed to leave, so we had to cancel that trip. And so the Regans are feeling like, man, we need a spring break. It'd be nice to get out of Dodge and get a little spring break. But
well, you have June at least.
Yes.
So
where we're going to be horseback riding and
too far down the line.
That's right.
Good. Okay, so what are we saying? We don't have a mailbag?
I don't think we have a mailbag. No.
Okay. So
nobody knew that Ruby was on duty.
So we need you to submit your questions for a mailbag. You can email us info@pv-wp.com if you have a question that you'd like us to answer on the show. Or if you want to call and talk to Erin at the front desk, sure.
That works too.
Give us a call and she'll take your question.
And are there any parameters around what can be asked?
No, there's nothing.
No holds barred.
No.
Bring it.
If you want to ask us for Tim's chili recipe,
which is award-winning,
and maybe top secret, so maybe he won't tell you. Maybe he'll leave off that ingredient.
You want to know how I get the part of my hair to be this wide? I mean, I can help with that. It's all kinds of stuff.
Okay, awesome.
Good episode.
Thank you so much for joining us this week on the Retirement Readiness Podcast. If you found any of it valuable, please like our Facebook page and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And until next time, we will see you later. Be well.
Be well.